Hi, I'm Dr. Sandy Martin from All Star Family Chiropractic in St. Joseph, Michigan, and you're here watching what was originally called You've Got the Power, and it's about inflammation and aging. So in this webinar, you are going to be learning about the 3 powers that you have. You probably have more powers than that, and guarantee that. However, we're going to go over 3 of them, especially when it comes to your body's health and the choices you have when it comes to inflammation and aging, because everyone's going to go through that, right? But let's talk more about this. And inflammation and aging in general, how old do you feel? And it depends on your age, according to the New York Times, but that doesn't rub me the right way, because I've met 70-year-olds that are running half marathons and feel like they're in their 30s, and I've met 30-year-olds who feel like they're 80. That's not okay to me. We should be out there living our best lives. And if that's what you want, this is the type of webinar that you want to stay with and know your choices. Because right now in the US, and how this is affecting everyone, is that the US life expectancy in 2020 was 77.3 years of age. And that ranked us at 46 out of all the countries in the world. That's not okay. What I know is that we have the capability to live to 120 years, and we're not making it there. We're just not plain making it there. So power number 1, our body has the ability to adapt. Adaptation enables us to continue even with our limitations, right? So we have choices. Our problems, which most of us are not making wise choices, right? We got to look in the mirror about optimizing our youth and health, and then we wonder, when are we getting old? Like, what age do you feel old? I even have patients that come to me and are like, oh, well, I'm having knee surgery on my right knee. And I say, well, why is that? And they're like, well, old age. I'm like, how old's your other knee? Why isn't that one needing knee surgery? It's all about imbalance in the way we treat it, overuse, and then inflammation plays a huge part of this as well. So we are our worst enemies. We damage our ability to optimize youth. We poison ourselves. I mean, did you know, like, coffee is one of the most consumed beverages in America? Think of the Dunkin' slogan. America runs on Dunkin'. It's poison. Coffee dehydrates us. Do you have to give up coffee? No, but you have to make up for the fact of what the negative impacts are it's doing to you. We break down tissues, we rob ourselves of nutrients. Now, all of this is in the natural cycle of health and life, but our body is meant to rebuild. And so there's some fun things that we get to learn on this one. We deprive ourselves of stress relief. We just keep go, go, go. We don't have the tools or use the tools to slow down and check in with ourselves. So our choices are our problems. You have to make it a priority in order to take care of yourself, because I constantly ask this, not the question on the screen, but if you knew you were going to make it to the age 100, what would you do differently today? Because that's one of the exponential growing demographics, is making it to being a centennial, age 100. But most people I ask this question of, they're like, no, I never want to make it to 100, just kill me. And that is because our vision of a 100-year-old person is someone who is broke, crippled, and alone. But I'm telling you, we can make it to age 100 easily, being healthy, wealthy, and well-connected. We just have to make the right choices. So if you knew you were going to make it to age 100 today, being healthy, wealthy, and well-connected, what would you have to do differently today? Okay, so what aging begins at what age? This is very opinionated, right? However, we can break down cells scientifically as well. So we can break it into stages. We have birth, and then life continues. We grow, and we reach maturity. And usually at that point, the aging system then sets in. So which stage are we in? It does vary depending on genetics, but genetics only account for 30% of our makeup in our health, and 70% is our environment. So stages of life reported by Dr. Harry Sobel, PhD, in When Does Human Aging Start? Number 1 is growth. We have protein mass increases in the body. Number 2, maturity. Protein mass remains constant in the body for a very short period of time. And once you level off and protein mass increases, you actually then start the aging syndrome. Aging syndrome, protein mass diminishes in the body, irreversible loss of protein compared to the maturity state. And by the way, protein mass pertains to protein which is contained in the cells and that which is extracellular, like collagen, which is a third of the protein in the body. So we're not talking about like muscle mass. So inflammation causes chronic disease, and this is another reason why we get to, as we age, we're seeing more and more chronic pain or arthritis. So low-grade chronic inflammation independently predicts coronary heart disease, actually better than high cholesterol or blood pressure will predict it. Causes of chronic disease: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, and Alzheimer's. Now, these are 4 of the top 7 causes of death in the US today. And if it's caused by inflammation, what I know is at least 66% of them that happen as a statistic can be prevented. The C-reactive protein is an accurate predictor of heart failure or heart attack, and is a better predictor than high blood pressure or high cholesterol, seen in the School of Medicine, University of Vermont. So inflammation has been linked to the insulin resistance syndrome, especially in type 2 diabetes as well. And studies have suggested that markers of low-grade chronic inflammation independently predict those of high risk for type 2 diabetes. But that's a choice, right? Because we're seeing, it's not called juvenile diabetes and adult onset diabetes anymore, because we're seeing kids with type 2 diabetes. Strokes, these are caused by plaquing as a result of inflammation. Inflammation increases with age, noted by the presence of inflammatory cells, cytokines, and plaques are noted in Alzheimer's. Declining lung function, this is a study done in the University of Netherlands. It decreased muscle mass due to skeletal muscle breaking down as a result of inflammation. So yeah, based on what I said in the last one, we can get into muscle mass around this because of inflammation, but usually it's because of the amount of inflammation causing pain then leads to inactivity. And so we lose muscle mass, and why we have to have proteins is because within 2 weeks of a sedentary lifestyle, our muscles start to break down or atrophy. Fat cells spur inflammation, and obesity then results. So we have the choices. Inflammation is going to lead to aging, and aging actually leads to inflammation as well, and we're in this cycle. So if aging is a consequence of inflammation, then you start to see old age differently. If old age is driven by an overactive immune system due to chronic inflammation, then it may be treatable. Inflammation causes aging, and aging causes inflammation. Our immune system is designed to protect us from infectious disease, which historically has been the #1 killer for human beings, but not in the US. Inflammation causes aging. So waste products accumulated in the cells, connective tissue elasticity reduces, and then the chromosomal damage in the cells also happens. All these factors cause signs of aging to result and symptoms of aging to be evident. Inflammation can occur even without an invader, like we're talking infectious disease. So like the body does with arteriosclerosis or hardening of the arteries, in response to fatty deposits on the walls of arteries, a type of phagocyte called a macrophage identifies trouble spots and infiltrates them, swelling the fatty deposits in your body. These lesions can break open and result in the formation of a blood clot that can clog blood vessels and cause heart attacks. The more active the macrophages are and the more C-reactive protein in the bloodstream, and the more likely the lesions, they're going to break open, blocking your arteries and can potentially kill you. So, but we created that environment in our own bodies. So as physical strength diminishes and protein mass declines, the body is more subjective to injuries and falls as they result in inflammation as well, right? So it's this vicious cycle, but we have the power to do something differently about it. Power number 2, healing. The body has a self-healing organism. So it is really about clearing things out of the way so it can heal itself. Stress is one of the biggest causes of illness due to increased cortisol levels. And reducing our stress actually lowers our heart rate and relaxes our blood vessels. So having a good mental attitude, these are great factors to start reducing our inflammation. Reduce our stress, get checked for removal of subluxations. What is this? So this is very chiropractic language. A subluxation is a misaligned vertebrae. So our vertebrae are in our spine, and they rotate just slightly, putting it out of position. So we call this a malposition or a subluxation. It rotates just slightly and can put pressure on a nerve. Therefore, the communication between the brain and the body through that nerve doesn't function at 100%. It gets trickled out just a little. So you may not notice it. And it can stay there for years without you ever noticing it for like a symptom. And what causes these subluxations are traumas, thoughts, and toxins. It's stress, whether it's physical, chemical, or emotional. So in order to get checked for subluxations, you have to see a chiropractor. Because in the medical world, if you talk subluxations, they're talking about a dislocation or a bone out of position just less than a dislocation. We're talking even smaller. Okay, so it's on a spectrum of what degree do you want to function on. So they can, left unchecked, they actually lead to more erosion of a joint, which then leads to more arthritis and inflammation. So getting adjustments, and according to the study as well, Vergnoli et al., swelling and edema happens at a subluxated joint and results in the production and release of small molecules called neuropeptides that cause inflammation. And adjustments restore proper biomechanics, which reduces inflammation that would otherwise be caused from the malposition. Exercise. Not too heavy exercise, and depending on age, it does depend on how hard you go. One more research thing I know I have in here. Adjustments are also shown to reduce the production of two inflammatory cytokines. This is the type of cells that we're talking about. So tumor necrosis factor alpha and interleukin-1 beta, which means adjustments not only reduce local inflammation, but has the potential to help the whole body reduce inflammation. Exercise, we do recommend 30 minutes at least 3 times a week, but that's just to maintain strength. If you want to gain muscle mass, strength training twice a week, muscle development produces more energy for the brain as well. Getting water, staying hydrated. There's a formula out there. You take your body weight, so if you weigh 150 pounds, you divide that in half, which would be 75, and you need 75 ounces of water per day. Eating healthy foods. Fats and sugars in your body latch onto collagen and elastin and tie it into knots, which makes us look older, and then they block your cells from repairing them. Glucose, sugar, and fats damage the brain by building up plaque, and decreasing weight decreases your wrinkles too. The collagen and elastin make up the scaffolding under your skin, and with less fat binding to the elastin and collagen, and they're more flexible and less wrinkles appear. Ooh, who wants less wrinkles? I do. So that's how we successfully reduce our inflammation if you're just doing stuff on your own. Here's unsuccessful ways using drugs like NSAIDs. This is only going to mask the problem so that you don't feel it. In fact, 71% showed visible signs of damage in their intestines after only 90 days of NSAID usage. And so this could even be like baby Tylenol and aspirin, things like that. It's not fixing the problem. Let's put it that way. It's just masking the problem. So there is hope. There's lots of hope. It's never too late to start working out and changing your lifestyle. You can live vibrantly, be healthy, live up to 100 years old, and still living life to its fullest, right? You don't have to go through the degeneration and be decrepit and deteriorated. In fact, the major declines in performance time don't even occur. So hold on, let me get into the research notes that I wrote here. There's an estimated 250,000 senior athletes in training in the US. and every one of them is redefining what the aging body can do. Reporting in 7 senior fitness all-stars who say stay competitive in the Huffington Post. This article is from 2012, but studies show that regular exercise and training can slow the degeneration of bone density, muscular development, and balance in older adults. 3 physical functions that decline with age. And although aging inevitably has a negative effect on sports performance, one 2008 study of competitors in the Senior Olympics aging from 50 to 85 from the American Journal of Sports Medicine, what we just shared there too, is found that major declines in performance don't even occur until after the age of 75. So it's never too late to start doing something differently and living your best life. The fastest growing demographic for fitness club memberships is people over 55. Even in a 4-year time span, it increased by over 2 million people. With the baby boomers, though, it could just be that we have that many more over the age of 55. So we always have that choice. Time and aging, it is a process. Now, we can break this down scientifically. Aging is going to happen, and this is the downside to it all. But we have always experienced in life, I mean, you can, hit the like button, tell me if you've experienced this stuff, a change in your eyesight, especially with reading, shortness of breath or tightness in your chest, pains in your chest, stomach pains, indigestion, heartburn, urinary changes in frequency, urgency, hard to hold urine in, and forgetfulness. So when do observable signs of aging actually begin? So this is the downside, that this is just typically happens, but you have the power to do something to it. So remember, there's always hope. Number 1, our nervous system. At 20 years of age, it's expected to have 100 billion cells. And then at 40 years of age, we lose up to 10,000 cells a day. That's 1 to 3 million cells per year after the age of 40. Not a great statistic that I want to hear. So I'm going to choose not to believe that and still live out my best life. Our respiratory system, at 20 years of age, the muscles in the rib cage become stiffer and breathing function decreases. And typically by the age of 40, people experience breathlessness. Our circulatory system, the blood system, at 40 years of age, blood vessels are less elastic from fatty deposits and block arteries. Blood supply to the heart is reduced and causes angina or heart pain. In the GI system, your stomach and intestines, 55 years of age, good bacteria drop significantly. So getting more yogurt, and healthy yogurt, not the sugar yogurt with that bacteria in it, would be beneficial. Urinary system, at 65 years of age, your bladder capacity reduces from 2 cups, which is typically observed at age 30, down to 1 cup. And the walls of the urethra are thinner and weaker. So in Caleb Finch's study, a neurobiologist and gerontologist from the University of Southern California, human biology is a group of interdependent systems, not intradependent, interdependent. So they can depend on each other, and when one is functioning better, the other can function better as well. So observable signs of aging begin at 20 years and 40 years old. So these are big numbers, but it doesn't talk mostly about musculoskeletal. It talks about more inner stuff. So if you treat your cells right, they are anti-aging mechanics and they help keep you healthy. So another study, Volvo 1966 with 2.9 million miles, right? So here's the study about secrets for a long car life. What do we do for a long car life? We have regular oil changes, we monitor the key fluids, we maintain the transmission, we change the plugs, we watch and care for timing belt. Do not forget the radiator. We remember the filters, we fight rust, we know and use our maintenance manual, and drive with habits that don't take years off the car. So the same thing can happen if we take care of our bodies. 10 secrets for a longer life. Regular spinal adjustments. I will get adjusted once a week for the rest of my life. Where's the science behind that? It's what I clinically have known and seen, that I function better, I move better, and I feel better when I'm in alignment. Monitor and posture. monitor your posture, optimize brain function. I do believe all of this to be true. In fact, I have a lot, especially the younger moms, 30s, that come in with like brain fog. It's a whirlwind. We're go, go, go. We're working, we're running our kids all around. And one of the biggest comments we feel is that after they've been adjusted, even after their first week, they see an increase in energy, better sleep habits, and less brain fog as well. Exercise daily, at least 5 times a week. Just to maintain, remember, it took 3 times a week for 30 minutes each. That's maintaining. If we want to go above that in order to stay healthy, at least 5 times, 7 times if you can. And that might just be stretching as well. Care for your body on a schedule, not based on your symptoms. So just because, or what I call whim worshipers, like, oh, I didn't feel like it today. That's not going to get you anywhere. Reduces inflammation. Well, we need to reduce our inflammation. Remember, stress habits as well. Remember your diet of vegetables. Fight adding toxins and poisons, so alcohol and medicines that create or just hide the symptoms or create more inflammation as well. Remember what we're putting into our body. There's even things in our water. So look at what you're drinking. You should never be drinking your calories. Know and use your body's maintenance schedule, and consistently choose ideal action. So another thing I love to do is I recommend massages at least once a month for the rest of your life as well. Your body deserves it. So do you choose to engage in these actions? Are you in a community setting you up to win with this? And that's what these webinars are about, is we are here designed to keep you in the conversation of making sure you're doing the right thing to get you to be healthy, wealthy, and well-connected at age 100. So, are you okay? Or what are you going to do about it if something needs to change? So continue. If something needs to change, do it. The choice is only the beginning. You have the rest of your life. And tomorrow morning is the first day of the rest of your life. You can choose to make it look however you want. That's your power. Your power is adaptability. Your power is healing. And your power is choice. Choose to be the best version of yourself so that you can make this world a better place, because it always starts with ourselves. Make sure to like this, to share this, to subscribe to our channel, and share it with the person that you think can benefit from this as well, because don't be a statistic. Be on the higher end of being healthy, wealthy, and well-connected, because you deserve that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Dr. Sandy from All Star Family Chiropractic. Have a great day.